HD2.
All right, I got some sound here, Bump. This is from Brock Huard the other day, and he was talking about the Apple Cup and why he feels like this year you can't even call it that.
I know that I will not call this the Apple Cup. For me, I know this is not played in Pullman. I know this is not played at Husky Stadium. I know because of that, this is a very different feel and a very different environment. I know ticket sales have been tough. I know that this is going to feel like an NFL environment. Lumen Field in the 12s, one of the most difficult and tremendous environments in all the NFL. Lumen Field, when the Cougs played over there a couple times through the years, that the then AD thought this would be a good idea because the populace and the alumni base is west of the mountains. It was not a good idea. It didn't look right. It didn't feel right. It wasn't right. The Cougs are meant to play in Pullman. That's what makes them special. That's what makes this rivalry in the past special. It is East versus West. It is the Palouse versus Seattle. But to strip it and not play it in Husky Stadium and not play it in Pullman, I'd rather just frankly, and I think the ticket sales have showed this, I'd rather just see it go away until the two sides can figure out how to play this thing on the campus where it deserves.
What do you make of it, Bump?
One, let me say I love me some Brock Huard, man. Mm-hmm. Like, my goal is to do what Brock Huard does. I want to be a voice in college football, a voice in NFL. I want my voice on Madden. I want to help create or build Bump and Stacy up to a level to where everyone listens and recognizes it. So this is no hate for Brock Huard at all. It's just the idea that I don't agree with. It's why give up over 100 years of tradition because the location is different. Both sides haven't been able to come together and figure this thing out. But the fact that we're still playing this game, the fact that you're still going to be able to line up and someone's going to grab the trophy and have bragging rights and keep the rivalry alive, I think that's the most important thing. Forget the location. It's not ideal. It's not ideal at all. I would love to play at Husky Stadium or over at Martin Stadium, but that's just not the case. Things are changing. And it almost is like an old man mentality, like when NIL, these guys shouldn't be getting paid to play football, but they are. This is how it is these days. Or, you know, the game is different. Why are the quarterbacks being protected? They just are. That's the way it is. So I know where Brock is coming from because he's big on tradition and keeping things the same. But me, I'm like, let's just keep the party rolling. You know, sometimes you got to go to the bonfire in the middle of the woods and just get it cracking. Sometimes you go to the house party. You're still going to show with the same people. You're still going to have like the same type of vibe and stuff. So I heard that from Brock, and I laughed a little bit because I'm like, come on, Brock. Like, we gotta play this game. I want to be able to talk to you. Yesterday we were in at VMAC, and me and Mario Bailey,
oh my
UW
God.
great.
It was so funny.
We were going at it. I'm like, and that's what it's about. And it was all
yelling
love.
At each other across a media room.
Right. We were going at it, but it was all love. And I go, that's what this game is about. You know, he's telling me, oh, you win one every 10 years. You got 8 more years to go. I'm like, Mario, you know, we got a chance to get y'all this year. So I can't imagine going a year and not having the back and forth. And we've been on the losing end more than not as Washington State. We've been on the losing end, but keep the trash talk going. Keep some type of tradition going. It's been over 100 years. The first game was played in 1900. 1900.
I was just a baby.
I don't agree with that at all. I love Brock to death, but I heard that I had to giggle a little bit.
I actually fully expected you in your response to be like, Brock's just saying, you know, they shouldn't even call it the Apple Cup because we're about to beat them this year. Like, just to roll out like this is happening. We're going to have an actual Apple Cup preview coming up a bit later in the show with Christian Capel, and it will be primarily on the Dogs. Capel covers the Dogs, but we'll get in general preview questions. It did, though, Bump, make me think yesterday of our conversation with Brett McMurphy, and he loathes conference realignment because of the instability that it brings to college football. Both you and I have watched a number of games, not just either Washington school, through the first couple weeks of the college football season, and many of these games have been so fun. I mean, fodder for sports talk and also just genuinely enjoyable things. There is, though, right now, not just a lack of stability in college football in terms of conferences, but also because of that lack of stability, a genuine change in tradition that hits a lot of people. Do you feel in any way like, I mean, I'm fascinated how you feel as a Coug, right? Like with what's happening with the remaining Pac-12 schools, Washington and Oregon State, bringing in Mountain West schools, trying to keep this thing alive. They have until the summer of 2026 to figure it out. Then you have an Apple Cup this year that's in September, week 3 of the season, and it's not being played at Husky Stadium. Like everything about it just feels weird. Do you find yourself conflicted between feeling maybe the way Brock does and then feeling like you're fighting to be like, just keep it?
No, I find myself feeling like a Coug. This is who we are. Underdogs, counted out. This is just our identity. So when the UWers of the world feel the same way that Brock does, I try to put myself in their shoes, and they're coming from a different place. They're coming from a place of going to national championships and prestige and all that stuff. So they might view this whole thing differently. I'm like, come on now, we're WSU. NIL is kicking our butt right now. We do not have the funds to keep up with everybody else, yet we are still in the fight. So when I hear things like that, I'm like, come on, toughen up, Buttercup. Like, let's play this game. Let's get it cracking. We are the lower middle class WSU.
You turn around and it's that meme of first time.
Exactly. I'm like,
oh, you just got here?
I'm like, oh yeah. Oh, it's uncomfortable, ain't it, huh? You don't like it here.
No, we don't. We don't like it here. We don't at all.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is nothing. It's nothing new to us. We're used to this, and I think that allows us to kind of view things differently. There's no hate for UW. I hate y'all for 4 quarters. Other than that, it's whatever, you know. And I try to sympathize and put myself in your shoes and try to understand where Brock is coming from, which I do. But it doesn't mean I agree with it. I'm just like, all right. It's just like politics, the left and the right. I go, you know, sometimes I agree with y'all, sometimes I don't. You know, but in this situation, we have to play this game. You have to call it the Apple Cup.
Yeah.
And you have to sketch your name on the trophy, take it home with you, keep tradition going so the kids who are in 6th, 7th, 8th grade right now who will play in this game later, it understands it and keeps it going. If we kill it, then it's almost like we lose that history. It's like there's a gap in that history. Yeah. Keep things rolling, man.
Well said, Bump. Bold Take Friday coming your way next. Get your boldest takes in for Seahawks in week 2. You can also do some Apple Cup ones if you want. 866-979-3776.